morning and welcome to Living Local 15. I'm your host, Jessica Williams. Thank you so much for joining me today. First up, I'm taking you inside of 4Motion Clinic, formerly SRT Prosthetics and Orthotics, and we're going to discuss upper limb prosthetics and how they are providing a solution for amputees. Then it's Money Monday with Foster Financial, and we are continuing our end-of-year planning by discussing increasing your contributions for 2026. And a little bit later, it's epic discounts at epic prices. That and more happening now.
Fashion, food, and fun. You're watching Living Local 15 with your host, Jessica Williams.
This segment is sponsored by 4Motion Clinic. I am here at 4Motion Clinic, formerly SRT Prosthetics and Orthotics, and today I'm going to learn more about the prostheses that they provide for the upper limb. So that's everything from your finger all the way up to your arm, and they're going to break it down because they provide hope and helping people to move forward. I'm now joined by Brooke Osteen, who is an occupational therapist here at 4Motion Clinic. Hi, Brooke.
Hello, how are you?
Good to talk with you. I'm doing well, thank you. So you have such an important job.
I do.
Such an important job.
I do.
You help people get functionality really back in an area of their body that they have lost and probably feel not so hopeful about. So talk to me about the upper arm and the upper, what we call the upper limb area.
Yeah. So we always say we see somebody almost full circle, right? We see them from an event that happened, that wrong place, wrong time, essentially the worst day of their life. Yeah. They lose a part of them that's social. It's the first thing we extend to say hello. Our fingerprints are our identity. Other than our dental records, they're who we are.
Right.
And so we take them from that moment of a catastrophic event to giving them hope. Via a prosthetic device. So whether that's a partial finger or just the tip of the arm or upper limb or hand to the whole thing, we give hope through prosthetic devices.
Yeah, and I'm sure you see a lot of cases that come in. So what do you see as the major cause of having that type of amputation?
Absolutely. So our leading cause is trauma. So about 77% of upper limb amputations happen due to trauma. And then secondarily, it's a congenital anomaly. So somebody born this way. So maybe an amniotic band syndrome, maybe a blood clot in utero, right? We don't know a lot about why that happens, but that's the second reason. And then a little bit of dysvascular disease, so the main cause, leading cause of lower extremity, we see it some, but not as much as trauma. So like I said, wrong place, wrong time, poor decision.
Right, okay. And about how many of these devices are you all putting out each year? I mean, how frequent does this happen?
Yeah, so the numbers overall in upper limb are pretty small. So when you're talking partial hand, there's about 45,000 partial hand amputations a year, but not all of those are fit. And then we're talking about upper limb versus lower limb. There's one person missing an arm for every 35 people who are missing a leg. And so the numbers are small. Our team personally here at 4Motion, we fit 120 upper limb devices in the year 2024. So we're busy.
Yes, and I'm sure just, again, providing that hope to someone. And as you kind of work with them to decide what the best device is, you have a lot of options that we see here on the table.
Yes.
But before we dive into the devices, talk to me just about the areas of the hand. People may not know what is partial, what is full, what is that considered on the hand?
Yeah, absolutely. So a partial finger amputation is anything from the tip to what we would call your large knuckle or your MCP head. So just right before before that. Anything throughout your finger there, we would consider that a partial finger amputation. You have parts and you're missing parts. Throughout your hand, right from your large knuckle to your wrist, any amputation throughout there, that would be considered a partial hand. Again, kind of, right? You have some, you don't have some. And then as we get to the wrist, it becomes a wrist disarticulation, a transradial, an above elbow, a shoulder disarticulation, and then a forequarter.
Wow, and you all help the full
We do.
arm, I mean, up every single piece.
Yes.
So let's see some of the devices here. They look so real.
Absolutely. So when we're talking about some partial finger devices, just sharing a couple of our favorites. We always say, right, I think everybody thinks when you lose a finger, do I really have an option, and do I really need that? And so we always say silicone, it's always an option. Doesn't matter how much or how little you have, it's always an option. And everybody all along says, oh, it's cosmetic, and it does have cosmetic properties. But I love that you initially said function, because by restoring the length of somebody's finger, they get function. They get function. And then this is another one of my favorites. So it's called a PIP driver. So this middle joint in your finger right here, called your PIP joint. So this would be appropriate for somebody that's amputated between their second and third, right? It's kind of a plug and play device, if you will. Once the amputation happens, we do custom measure these devices, so they're all custom made, but it's a plug and play. Once it's fabricated, we slide it over the finger, they bend their PIP joint, and that's how the device is driven. So you get that dexterity and that composite grasp back. Life-changing.
Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. And then you have other devices that really focus on the partial and then the full hand.
Yes. Yep.
Brooke, this looks like a real hand. Like, I just cannot. Let me hold it. That is crazy. Wow.
You always get quite the reaction when I'm walking into a hospital or I'm walking in somewhere, and that might be peeking out my bag, and everyone's like, what's going on?
What have you been up to? Even down to the nail?
So believe it or not, those are actual acrylic nails. So just like you would go to the nail salon and get them. So you can paint them, you can customize them, you can do all of the things, and there's a lot of, and that hair in there that you're seeing is actually actual hair underneath the silicone. Those are all custom painted, and they're actually painted from the inside out.
Wow.
So there's a lot of work that goes into something like that. But imagine, right, you're missing your hand, and you have to go to the grocery store, and every single time somebody's looking at that and they're asking you about the worst day, but you've got something like this to cover it up, the confidence that gives somebody to say, hey, I can go out into the community and for once I look whole.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you all provide that. So speaking of, talking to people on their worst day, I'm sure that you get so many different stories that walk through that door.
We sure do.
And so just kind of talk to me about just the feeling of learning about the stuff that happens to people, and then you being able to provide a solution.
Yeah. So, sometimes I think our team, we have to kind of decompress at the end of the day, and we have to kind of meet together and say, did we just hear that? Did we just see that? Is that real life? And again, you have to kind of compartmentalize that and realize that at the end of the day, we have a job to do, and we need to be, and sometimes we're the last person. Like, they come in the door and they say, I know there's probably nothing you can do for me, but I'm here just because I need to know. And so we just give them hope and say, hey, we've got something for you.
Yeah, I love that. And as people are deciding between the different devices, what would you say are just the primary benefits of taking this step? Because as you said, they may be questioning whether or not they need to or they're able to.
Yeah.
What would you say to encourage someone to actually look into getting this done?
Yeah, and so I think because of that psychological effect of an upper limb, right, they're coping with the amputation after it happens, and that's difficult. They always think, do I really need this, right? Is this really necessary? And unfortunately, without something, even without the whole index finger, right? You start to shoot over to your middle finger, you start to shoot over to your ring finger, and those are what we call compensatory strategies, or other ways of doing a task. And people don't realize the strain that puts on joints and muscles and tendons and ligaments. And we call that overuse. And so research has shown that if they don't get a prosthetic device, even just for the tip of their index finger, there's a 60% chance that they'll develop overuse in the first year without the assistance of a prosthetic device. So it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to have all 10 fingers and toes.
Yeah, exactly. And not strain other areas of the body.
Yeah.
So fascinating.
Thank you.
Amazing work that you all do. Thank you so much for sharing and breaking it down. You make it tangible, so it's understandable.
Yes.
So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you.
And if you would like more information about 4Motion Clinic, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by 4Motion Clinic.
Have an idea for the show? Want to find out how you can be a guest? Contact us at livinglocal15@wayne.com.
Enjoy fun in the sun on Living Local 15. Become a tourist in your own city. Visit your favorite spots and have some fun with me. From kayaking to rappelling off a building, I show you ways to have an adventure in Northeast Indiana every weekday morning at 9 on Wayne 15. So join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15.
Watch Living Local 15 with Jessica Williams weekdays at 9 on Wayne 15 and catch past episodes on wayne.com.
This segment sponsored by Foster Financial. Welcome back to Money Monday with Foster Financial, where we provide you with holistic financial advice with Caleb Doan, their Vice President. Good morning, Caleb.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so we're continuing this conversation about end-of-year planning because it's December and there's so much to get done besides Christmas shopping, of course.
Right, yeah, which I'm very behind on, by the way.
But the finances are on tack because this year you want to talk about a little bit of pre-gaming for next year when it comes to increasing the contributions. So what do you mean by that?
Yeah, so, well, one, the limit that somebody can contribute is increasing a little bit in 2026. So for 2025, the limit that you could contribute to the 401k was $23,500.
Okay.
That's bumping up to $24,500. And then if you're over 50 years old, that catch-up that you can contribute is bumping up a little bit. It used to be $7,500, now it's bumping up to $8,000. So if somebody was contributing, 15% last year and they were getting really close to the max over the course of the year, if they want to max it out, they might have to increase their contribution a little bit. So they might have to bump it up to 16 or 17% to now max it out for 2026. And even if somebody isn't maxing it out, it's still a good time to start thinking for next year, hey, can I afford to increase my contributions a little bit? Is that going to put me in a better situation for retirement?
And so your team really does work directly with the client to try to massage out this budget, right? And to see the actual financial planning if people are able to contribute more and in what ways it will be less impactful. So talk to me a little bit about the strategy that you really like to deploy when figuring these solutions out.
Yeah, I mean, we like to come to an exact percentage that the client needs to be contributing to reach their goals. And so they'll come to us and they'll say, hey, I really want to retire at 65 years old. And so we'll talk to them and say, all right, well, let's identify how much we think we're going to need to spend every single year in retirement. When are you going to need to put a new roof on the house? When are you going to need to buy new cars? How often do you buy new vehicles? What do you need for your typical monthly expenses? When does the mortgage drop off? All of that kind of stuff. So we identify that and then determine how much money they need to have when they retire. And then we can identify, all right, what percentage do you need to contribute right now to get to that retirement goal? I think a lot of times people, kind of guess and check when it comes to this. They're like, hey, I kind of heard that my neighbor was contributing 10%, and so I figured that'd be roughly a good idea to contribute. And at the end of the day, even if you and your neighbor make the same amount of money, are targeting the same age for retirement, even spend the same amount in a given month, if your neighbor has a pension and you don't have a pension, or if there are other, maybe there's an inheritance or something for your neighbor, but maybe not as much for you, it can completely change how much you need to contribute. So it's a really good idea to get a financial plan and really determine how much you need to contribute.
Yeah, because it's like, oh my goodness, when you think about contributing to your 401k, there are so many more benefits than contributing to like a savings account. So what benefits would you highlight to really inform people of the importance of a 401k?
Yeah, probably the two biggest ones would be, one, it can actually be invested and grow in the stock market. And then a second is the actual tax savings there. So whether you're contributing to the 401k pre-tax or Roth, both of them have certain tax benefits that you're not getting if you're taking the money out and just putting it into a savings account.
Okay.
We still want clients to have a nice emergency fund that's available to cover those expenses that come up. But that's one of the things that we analyze and determine how much they should actually be contributing. There are some people that even come to us and we're like, hey, you could actually back off your contributions a little bit. You're on track for retirement, and unless you want to retire even earlier than what you're anticipating, you could actually decrease contributions. So there's a lot of ways that we can kind of custom tailor that for the client, but it's much better to have clarity and confidence in the number that you're contributing as opposed to guessing and checking.
So what is the biggest misconception that you see when you talk to clients and they're trying to figure out if they can even afford to contribute or not? Like, what are some things that you're like, no, that's a myth, or yes, I can help you through that problem?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest misconceptions when we identify a client's budget to help determine how much they can contribute, I think a lot of times clients maybe think that their expenses are going to decrease more than what they really are in retirement. And so, you know, we'll take a look and they'll say, yeah, I think I can live off of, you know, $5,000 a month in retirement. That should be plenty. And then we take a look at their take-home income right now and we're like, well, you know, you're bringing home, you know, $7,000 a month right now, and it looks like it's all being spent. And so are we going to reduce expenses by $2,000 in retirement, or should we reduce them now, or where do we go from here? And so we really like to identify how much somebody needs, how much they can contribute to the retirement account right now, because I don't ever want a client to be surprised when we get to retirement and we start sending them $5,000 a month and they're like, oh, this isn't enough.
Right.
So we like to do all that planning far ahead, far in advance, and if we need to increase contributions now, then we can do that to avoid that bad surprise later.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you're thinking on behalf of the client. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would like more information about Foster Financial, we'll have their phone number and their website listed below. They do offer complimentary consultations, so you can figure out all of this planning from the jump, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Foster Financial.
Follow us on social media at Living Local 15.
Do you want to know the best places to go to eat and drink around Northeast Indiana? Well, join me, Jessica Williams, for Living Local 15, weekdays at 9 a.m. as I take you inside of the best restaurants, new and old, explore their menu, and of course, mix up some cocktails. Where will I go next? Well, you'll have to watch and see, but I want to know, where do you recommend I go?
Keep up with Jessica Williams on Living Local 15, weekdays at 9.
Welcome to Epic Discounts by BestReviews.com. I'm Melissa Bergameni.
And I'm Ashley Howard. Scan the QR code on your screen to get ready to save big.
Whether you are cleaning, cooking, or upgrading your tech, we have something for everyone on your list.
So let's kick things off in the kitchen with a look at what Wayfair can offer. This is the Henkel's Graphite 14-piece self-sharpening block set. If you're preparing large holiday meals or simply love cooking, this set is a game changer.
Every knife sharpens itself when you slide it in and out of the blocks. Plus, it looks sleek on the countertop, a wonderful gift for the home chef in your life.
Now for our big tech pick, perfect for your stocking stuffers, this is the Rockform Rugged Case. This case offers serious drop protection for winter weather and comes in multiple sizes and colors.
It features a strong magnetic mounting, so you can attach your phone to a car mount, a workout machine, or even the refrigerator. It is durable, reliable, reliable, and a smart gift for anyone getting a new phone this year.
The Miele Classic C1 Turbo Team Canister Vacuum is the holiday cleanup essential every home needs. This vacuum handles it all with strong suction and quiet performance.
And I love how lightweight it is. You can pull it from room to room with no strain, and that turbo brush attachment, it is excellent for carpets and area rugs. It is the ideal way to keep your home tidy during the busiest time of the year. Now it's time for your money moment from money.com. Gold is hitting record highs, and money.com says more Americans are turning to gold IRAs to help protect their savings.
With inflation on the rise and markets feeling a little unpredictable, many people are looking for ways to diversify beyond stocks and bonds. Gold is real, physical, and has a history of holding value when times feel uncertain.
So when is the right time to invest? There's never a perfect moment, but moving even a portion of your retirement into a gold IRA can help you feel more secure about the future.
Getting started is really easy. Open an account, roll over funds from your existing retirement plan, and choose IRS-approved metals stored safely in a secure vault.
Visit money.com or scan the QR code right now to see their top-rated gold IRA providers.
All right, let's get one last look at today's products and services helping you save money.
Head to epicdiscounts.com or just scan that QR code on your screen and get ready to scan, shop, and save with Epic Discounts by Best Reviews.
Best Reviews is owned by our parent company, Nexstar. You can find more on the products and where to buy them on WANE.com.
Living Local 15, proudly driven by the Kelly Automotive Group. Go to the Living Local 15 page on WANE.com for recipes from the show, to watch a segment again, and to get information on products and services featured on Living Local 15. Content segments during today's Living Local 15 were paid for by these sponsors.